Hey guys, hopefully you had a great Monday and you're ready to do some math. So hope you have a great evening after you're done doing math, and let's get started so we can get to that. I'm just going to review some of the stuff we did on 7.1. Even though we already went over this, I'd just like to review some vocabulary and also a couple other things so that it can help you do your assignment for tonight. So remember, the lesson objective is we're using variables, which is just letters in math for the number that you are not sure of, to write an algebraic expression. And that both of those are some of our vocabulary words. So let's go ahead and go through and look for those vocabulary words. We'll turn the page over to page 222 in your textbook, so hopefully you have that out with your composition book. If not, please go pause the video and do that. But it says right here, an algebraic expression. The x plus 9 is an algebraic expression in terms of x. So you can say that x plus 9 is the sum of x and 9. So it's an algebraic expression because it has a variable. It also tells you what function you're doing, whether that's subtraction, addition, multiplication, or division, and it has another number with it. That is what an algebraic expression includes, is it has a variable, the function that you're to do, and the other number that it needs to include. So x and 9 are the terms in this expression. X and 9 would be the terms that you are trying to find the sum of for this expression. So the terms would be the two things that you are either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. So algebraic expression is when it tells you the terms and the function that it wants in that expression for you to figure out the answer to, and the terms are the two things that you're going to do that function to. So hopefully that helps you with your vocabulary words. There's also one more vocabulary word that is in here, and variable. Right here it tells us the definition of variable. It said it represents an unknown number. So whatever the x or the y or the z is called the variable, because it's saying I have to put a letter in there because I don't know what that number is, and I'm going to figure that out in my algebra problem. So hopefully you've written down variable represents an unknown number, and an algebraic expression on page 222 was an algebraic expression where you have two terms and a function that you are doing to those two terms, and terms are the two things that you are doing those functions to. So hopefully you have those written down. So let's turn over to page 225, and we are going to look at practice problems 7.1. So I'm just going to run over these real quick because your assignment today was to do 1 through 11 on practice problem 7.1 on page 225. So please turn there, and it says write an algebraic expression, and remember that is two terms. Here in the number 1 it's 4 and p, and it's saying the sum of. So that's the function that we know is whatever the answer for that kind of function being addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, and the answer is either called the sum for addition, the difference for subtraction, the product for multiplication, and the quotient for division, and we wrote that down in our notes earlier in the week. So that will tell me what function I need to put in my algebraic expression. So 4 and p. So the sum would be 4 plus p. So that is all that you would write. And if you need some help with that, we'll just write it real quick. Number 1 would be 4 plus p. And remember, we're not looking for answers here. It's just saying write the algebraic expression for the following. So let's go down, and it's just going to keep doing that. I'm going to go ahead and do number 5a with you. So it says, her father is 24 years older than Cheryl. Find her father's age in terms of x. So it's saying her father's age would be x. And because we don't know the father's years, it says her fathers are 24 years older than Cheryl. So it's going to say, for our answer in number 5A, it's going to say X. The father's age would be X. We don't know what Cheryl's age is, so we call that X. And then it says he's 24 years older than Cheryl, so we'd have to take X and add 24. And that would equal her father's age. So you don't necessarily need to write father's age here because it's not asking you to find an answer, remember. It's just saying to write the algebraic expression. So you have a term and the number and the function here. So it's saying X would be Cheryl's age. If we add 24, it would equal the father's age. So remember to figure out what one you need to add to. It's saying find her father's age. So that's how we know we need to make that the answer, but you don't actually have to write the father's age. Hopefully that helps. I am going to do number 6 as well with you. It says multiply k by 5 and then add 3 to the product. So multiply k by 5, then add 3 to the product. So if we learn our orders of operations, we would do our multiplication first, and then we would add 3 to the product. So it would be 5 times k. One thing I want you to really pay attention to real quick is there's a couple different ways you can write times when we're using algebraic expressions. If you look over on page 223, right here at the bottom, it says 4z is the only term of the expression 4z. You can say 4z is the product of 4 and z. So you can either write 4.z for multiplication, or just 4 with a z next to it, always means multiplication, or you can write it like I did over here and go that term times that. So this would be a proper way to write that. We could go k dot 5, which would mean times, or the most correct way in algebra is just to write, whoops, I wrote them backwards. Sorry, it would say 5 times k, 5 dot k would mean the same thing, or just 5 with a k next to it means times. And this is probably the most common for algebraic expressions, so we're going to use that, and it will be to complete 5k plus 3 would be how we would write that. So on number 10, I'm going to go ahead and do for you as well, and then the rest I need you to do on your own. So number 10, Jeremy bought 5 pencils for $W. So 5 pencils for $W. And again, we're going to have to look over at our page 224, right across the page. And this one's going to be a division problem because it says he bought 5 pencils. I'll scoot it up there a little bit for you. He bought 5 pencils for $W. And so it's going to say $W, and he bought 5 pencils. It's going to be a division problem if we keep reading. Each pen costs 35 cents more than the pencil. Write an algebraic expression. So look over here on page 224. It's saying a math note is division when we're doing algebraic expressions can be written just like we know a fraction is a division problem. So they wrote W over 7 for this problem. A rod of length 7 inches is divided into 7 parts. So we know it's division. So we do W, and then it says a length of W is divided into 7 parts. And remember, whenever we write a fraction, how many parts it's divided into goes on the bottom. So that's how we know the 7 goes on the bottom, not the top. So however many parts it's divided into, which it says divided into 7 parts, goes on the bottom. So then our variable would be W at the top. What is the length of each part? So here's how we wrote that in a bar graph right over here. And then they went ahead and wrote it 7 over W. It can also be written as 1/7 over W, or times W, because that would actually come out to the same thing. Because remember, our division is the same as times by the reciprocal. So essentially that would be what this would be. So W7 is the only term of the expression W7. So over here on number 10, that is what we would do. We are going to put our W over, because it says he bought 5 pencils for how many dollars, so it's divided up into 5 parts for W dollars, and each pen, it's adding our pen, is 35 cents more than the pencils. Write an algebraic expression for each of the following in terms of W. The cost in dollars of pens. So if it's asking us to find out the cost of the pen, then we need to go W5, and then it says it's 35 cents more. So we go plus 0.35 is how we would go there. And then it says the number of pencils that Jeremy can buy with $20. So then that would mean, okay, the number of pencils he can buy with $20 would be, if we take 20 and times it by 5, because it's saying how many pencils? Well, we had 5 pencils to start with. And how many can he buy with $20? 20 divided by 5, or 20 times 5, sorry, because now I'm taking that, is going to be 100. And so it would be 100 over W, because it's saying the parts that we divide into is always the bottom that it's divided into, and that's where our W would be. So go ahead and make sure you're doing 1 through 11 on your own, and we will see you tomorrow to go over them.